Heil Honey.
Heil Honey.
Heil Honey.
Heil Honey.
Heil Honey.
Hello.
I'm home. Heil Honey.
Heil Honey.
Smile honey. Because I'm home. Gee, it's great to be Top Gun, but it's nothing like the fun that I get when I say Heil Honey, I am home. Heil Honey.
Heil Honey.
Smile honey. Gee, it's great to be back. Heil Honey, I'm home.
It's been called the worst sitcom ever made, a byword for awfulness dragged out by talking head-based throwaway documentaries to stun and amaze viewers. Yet Heil Honey, I'm Home throws up many more questions than just how was this made. It's a fascinating example of how a project has been wildly misinterpreted and mythologized, usually by people who simply follow the narrative set out by other critics. How this show became so infamous is almost as much a mystery as how it was commissioned. It's 1990 and Britain is getting its first taste of satellite TV. Sure, satellite systems had been around for a few years, but they were far from mainstream. At the start of the decade though, two competing systems set out to grab the newly emerging market for affordable and relatively unobtrusive dishes and receivers. The market was certainly out there in a country with just 4 TV channels, and both Sky TV and British Satellite Broadcasting, BSB, offered a setup with exclusive new entertainment channels as well as dedicated film and sports channels. It was set to be the battle of the century, but in the end the knockout blow came almost immediately. Sky had the better channel selection and BSB was struggling with finances. Within a year of launching, they'd sold out to their rival to form British Sky Broadcasting, which sounds like a merger until you realise that pretty much all the BSB exclusive channels immediately bit the dust. But in its short life, BSB hosted Galaxy, a general entertainment channel that showed a mix of original programming, old BBC shows and US imports. It was pretty ambitious for a startup. Its rival Sky One was, for years, made up of nothing but imported shows. The channel launched on March 25th, 1990 and ended broadcasting on December the 2nd. Much of the Galaxy original output is now said to be lost due to a mix-up between the broadcaster and the production companies, each thinking that the other had kept the master tapes and so dumping their own copies. Does this make sense? A TV production company wiping its only copies of its productions without double checking? Even the BBC had stopped doing that by 1990. Among the original programs made for this channel was Heil Honey, I'm Home, which was shown just once at the end of September. Apparently 8 episodes, or possibly 12, or maybe even more, were shot, with production still taking place in November, rather putting a lie to the claims that the project was immediately dropped after the first episode was shown. While the show did attract complaints from the Board of Deputies of British Jews before it was broadcast, there's actually little evidence to show mass outrage from viewers. In truth, the single episode appears to have been a pilot, and BSB happily commissioned a full series for 1991. In the end, it was the corporate takeover, not moral outrage, that did for the show. Sky quickly dropped Galaxy and most of its shows as an unnecessary expense. The premise of Heil Honey, I'm Home certainly sounds outrageous. Shot in the style of a 1950s US sitcom, it has Adolf Hitler and Ava Braun living next door to Jewish couple Arnie and Rosa Goldenstein, with hilarious results. The first episode has the henpecked Hitler trying to keep his nosy neighbours from popping over while Neville Chamberlain comes to visit. With such a story, it's no surprise that the show invariably became a staple of TV hell shows, covering the worst or most shocking television moments, where attention-hungry minor celebrity talking heads would line up to pretend that they'd seen the show in question at some time before the point that the documentary's researchers had supplied them with a copy. The infamy of Heil Honey, I'm Home grew as countless people over the years lined up to say how their jaws dropped when they saw the show on its original broadcast. But of course, the chances of them having actually seen it were slim, to say the least. Some of them were probably not even born when it was shown. It was broadcast on an obscure channel on a short-lived satellite broadcasting system with 750,000 subscribers. How could it be possible for a significant number of people to have even tuned in to begin with? And you only have to watch 5 minutes of the show to realise that it's not the programme that people seem to think it is. Firstly, there's the fact that it's presented as a lost US TV sitcom from a period when just about any premise was possible. Think Mr. Ed, My Mother the Car, and other outlandish concepts. As such, it's more a satire on American television than it is on Hitler. It's probably closer in spirit to Mel Brooks's The Producers than anything else. To be shocked at how tasteless an idea it was is to miss the point, because that's the entire joke. It's a satire of bad taste and crass sitcoms, and the fact that people have taken it at face value is rather telling. Of course, those shocked celebrities had never seen the full show. Their astonished reactions were effectively scripted outrage over something that they hadn't even watched, so expecting them to understand the context and nuance is a bit much. But it's hard to see how anyone could sit down and watch this and not immediately understand what it's trying to do. And more to the point, this is hardly the first show set during the war, or the first comedy to satirise Hitler and the Nazis. The first episode even followed a Dad's Army rerun, for crying out loud, and the hugely popular BBC sitcom 'Allo 'Allo, full of comedy Nazis, ran from 1984 to 1992, which encompasses the time that this show was made. You have to wonder just what aspect of the show was actually that shocking. It's not as if it presented Hitler as anything other than the latest in a long line of sitcom buffoons. It took the piss out of him in much the way that comedy sketches and movies had done for years. Surely the best way to deflate any notorious figure is to turn them into a laughingstock. Now, I think the show drags out the point somewhat, and if there was a whole series, then I suspect it would have gotten old very quickly. It may have been better as one of writer Jeff Atkinson's spitting image sketches, in all fairness, though equally it could have developed the idea into something impressively satirical. I guess we'll never know. At least one person, and the person who posted the title sequence for later episodes on YouTube, claims to have all the tapes, and there's a DVD bootleg site out there supposedly selling the whole series, which I would approach with extreme caution. But if anyone reading this does have other episodes, feel free to let us know, and pass them on. However, no matter how many episodes were shot and completed, an official release seems unlikely, if only because some of those involved might not be too keen to sign off on it or even talk about it. Though Atkinson doesn't seem to be one of them. In 2017 he told Entertainment Weekly, "I've certainly never felt embarrassed by it because I know the motives were good. If we were trying to make fun of what happened in the Holocaust, we deserve the hate. I never felt we were trying to belittle that at all. But to not get it right, that was frustrating. It was fun, but it came at a price, and I wish I could do it again. If Netflix phoned and said, okay, you can do 6 more episodes, I would be the happiest person in the world." I have tried to get in touch with Jeff Atkinson to discuss this further, hopefully to interview him for this video, which has been in the works for a very long time. Sadly, to no avail. If you are Jeff Atkinson and you're watching this, then please get in contact. I can always do another post of this story. And I'd be interested to hear what you think of Heil Honey, I'm Home, assuming that you've actually watched it. Do you find it grossly offensive, or do you agree with me that it's being willfully misunderstood? Be fascinated to hear what you think. If you enjoy this kind of thing, then don't forget to give this video a like, and if you've yet to do so, subscribe to The Overlooked Hotel. And if you want to support our efforts in producing these videos, visit our Patreon page where you'll find extended versions of our more contentious efforts and some original content. Or just drop us a tip through Buy Me a Coffee or Super Thanks here on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.